start recording. Okay. So again, extra credit opportunities. We have the open house, but Wednesday it closes. So make sure you and your parent guardian sit down with this. And then the 3D model, you have a few weeks. It's not due until March 19th, which I think is 2.5 weeks from here. That's okay, Hope. Thank you. Any questions about the extra credit? Okay. You guys already submitted your notebooks. I'm having some of you submit them late, but then there's no notes in there or no notebook. Please stop submitting work that's not updated. Like you're just making me click here, click, you're wasting my time. So please don't do that, okay? So if you're gonna resubmit or submit something late, make sure it's actually there or don't even bother. It gets very frustrating. Some of you are multiple offenders of that. And please stop doing that, okay? So if you haven't already, make sure you do submit that as soon as possible. All right. I had mentioned this quickly last time on Thursday while you were drawing on the Pear Deck. I want to reinforce that I highly recommend that in your digital notebooks, you add a picture of an animal cell and a plant cell. These are good reference materials for you. Also, these 4 main organelles, nucleus, mitochondria, cell membrane, and ribosome, make sure you know the function of these 4. Again, great reference material for you for that final exam. Okay, questions on this? All right. Let's go ahead and remind you to stay. You guys are, most of you are coming on time. I know there's internet glitches going on, so do your best to have your camera on, stay focused, use the chat to get my attention, limit those distractions. Put the phone away, okay? Put the second device away and give me your undivided attention for the next hour. A lot of you, that's okay. A lot of you earned that bonus point last week, so great job. Keep it going. So I do want to see your faces. If I'm not seeing your faces, there should be a reason behind that. And some of you are more constantly, you need to lower. Caleb, can you lower your camera, please? Ivan Chang, lower your camera. Angel, can you lower your camera, please? Ayan, your camera a little bit lower. I do want to see your faces, please. Okay. All right. This is going to be on Go Formative. So if you haven't already, make your way to the stream on Google Classroom. It's the top thing posted there. It's called Inheritance. Okay. So if one parent has a dominant trait and another has a recessive trait, which trait do you think the offspring will have and why? So go ahead. This is going to be on the formative. I'm going to give you a moment to answer that while I submit attendance. All right, let me peep. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to upload Go Guardian. All right, I see a lot of you getting on there now. I'm going to refresh again. All right, Donovan, if you could open it. There you go. Never mind. I see you got it open now. Marcus, good. Ian, there we go. It's loading. Derek, it's loading. I just need to be patient. Okay. I'm going to give you a moment to answer the warm-up. All right, volunteers, what do you think? Okay, I got asked to rephrase the question. We have two parents. One of them has a dominant trait. The second parent has a recessive trait, and they have offspring, meaning they have children. They have a baby. Which trait do you think the baby's gonna have and why? Okay, does that make sense now? Okay. Okay. All right, let's start with Natalie.
I think the offspring will have the dominant trait because the genes are stronger.
All right, thank you. Bella.
I agree with Natalie. The parent who has the most dominant gene, the offspring is most likely to have and take after that parent.
Okay, thank you. Abigail.
I agree with both of them. I think the offspring will have the dominant trait because the dominant trait is more common, so there would be a higher chance of the offspring having it.
Thank you. Armand.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think for some of them, for certain traits, it might not even matter what the parents have, just what majority of the population of that organism has.
Okay, I'm with you. Anybody else? All right. I'm pretty excited because we have a fun formative for you today. If you look at your learning goal, you're going to create offsprings of different aliens. So it's kind of fun. Let me show you real quick. So we have this formative, sorry, we have this gizmo, and this gizmo is going to allow us to create different aliens today with different traits. So I'm neither going to confirm nor deny any of your warm-up answers because I want you to see for yourself. So today you get to create different aliens with different characteristics. You can do whatever you want. It's really loud. Okay. Let's do this. Oh yeah. So here's parent one, and then I can create another alien and change characteristics. Oh yeah. And so it's a match made in heaven. And then we're going to reproduce these two aliens. So we have this child that's going to appear, and now we have this offspring. So kind of fun. Today you get to create and breed aliens. And then hopefully through this gizmo, you will be able to better understand those what shows up, dominant or recessive traits in the actual offspring. Again, offspring means like the baby or the next generation. Okay. So let's review real quick before I let you go and actually create aliens. We started off with, I'm going to rearrange these slides later. So we were looking at traits, and that's what our warm-up was about. And we know that dominant traits are more common, recessive traits are less common. We also learned that there's two types of traits. There's inherited traits, which you're born with, and there's acquired traits, which you are not born with them, but they're traits that you get from your life experience. So maybe you cut your hair, maybe you got a tattoo. Your aliens get tattoos. So that's kind of fun to see that as well. Okay. But this all has to do with traits which are found in your genes, which is a piece of DNA. So just a small portion of DNA will have the information for a specific trait or a gene. But that DNA it's a macromolecule, which means a very big biological molecule, and it's super wound up on each other into these dense bodies called chromosomes. And those chromosomes are found in the nucleus, and the nucleus is found in your cells. We know that cells are the basic building block of all lives. And when you have these together, and so it's found in all living organisms. Now, that DNA is composed of 4 nitrogen bases: thymine, guanine, adenosine, and cytosine. And we know that they pair up a specific way. We know that A and T go together, and G and C bind together. We then looked at the shape of DNA. We know it's this a spiral double helix or a twisted ladder. I had a student in 6th period last week say it looks like a curly fry. Makes me hungry. And yeah, it kind of does. But then we see that these base pairs are connected throughout this ladder as well. Now, when we look at DNA, it stands for deoxyribonucleic acids, and it is the blueprint that codes for the various organisms. It also determines the order of amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins. So if you have a bunch of amino acids together, you're creating proteins, proteins to living cells to tissues, and then to organs, which creates your organism. We also learned that if there is any disturbance in this protein creation, that is what we call a mutation. Okay. And you're actually going to learn mutations next week. I got a little ahead of myself. On Thursday, you're going to learn more about these dominant and recessive traits and how it's passed on to offsprings a little bit more on Thursday. Okay. So let's look at this Go Formative. I'm going to go ahead and give you the link to the gizmo in case you haven't bookmarked gizmos yet. Okay. So I recommend go ahead and save the bookmark for gizmos so it's there. If not, you have the link in the chat box right now. As always, on the formative, we have several questions for you to answer. And it begins with, let's scroll through here. We are going to go into breakout rooms, and in 1st period, I actually experimented where you get to pick your breakout room. So it worked out fairly well. There was only one group where they did not work together, and they're the only group that didn't finish the formative. So I highly recommend, in fact, your mic must be on. I changed that slide a little bit more, where your mic must be on. When you talk to each other and work through the problems, it's way more efficient than you working by yourself. Work as a team, not independently when you're going through here. So the first 2 questions are who's who, what roles. If you're in a team of 3, make sure you tell me you're only in a team of 3 so that you get full credit for those first questions. All right. So your first set of questions, again, are prior knowledge. You do these before the gizmo, and they're asking you about your traits. Similar to what we did last week, do you have traits that are similar to your parents? How are you different from your parents? And then they're going to get into the actual alien activity. Now, there's 2 types of reproduction that you're going to learn about: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. On the actual gizmo, if you look over here at the very top, make sure you're following directions. You're just going to click on which one you're actually going to use. Okay. After you've created your alien, then when you are ready to see what the next generation or the offspring are going to look like, you just hit reproduce. Okay. Now there's 3 pods in the front, because you might want to, there's some steps where they want you to do it like make 10 babies. Okay. So right here is kind of like a holding station, but it only holds 3 aliens. So if you are in a part where you need more space, you can just drop these guys in the exit hole and they go bye-bye. Okay. So that's how we can actually do that. They're going to have you play with the food supply. So that's down here at the bottom. And then here are the different traits that you can choose from. Okay. Yeah. This is a much nicer way of saying see you later. Okay. So again, most students, actually this went very quickly for first period. Some of them ended up going quicker than others. So make sure you work together. It works way better when our team, where are we? Close your eyes if you, no, I'll scroll. I don't want to make you nauseous. Discussion leader, right? Ask various people to read the question out loud. The reporter, you can also be the reader of the questions, however you want to do it. But I noticed the groups that were the most successful actually read the questions out loud together and then worked through it as a team. So that was great. Okay. All right. Any questions for me? We are going to take our break a little bit early. When we get back, we will go into breakout rooms, and this will be the only break you get today. So go grab a snack, go get a drink now, use the restroom, and then let's come back after here. Okay, here we go.